The city's heart had stopped. A massive power surge knocked the subway system into a silent, metallic coma. Deep underground, at the mouth of a dark, gaping tunnel, engineer Maya Collins stood, the world reduced to the crackle of her radio. The emergency lights, weak and flickering, did little to pierce the oppressive darkness. "Dispatch, this is Collins. Train 47 is stuck between stations." "I'm going in," she said, her voice a beacon of resolve against the silence. The reply was swift and sterile. "Negative, Collins. High voltage risk. Wait for the repair team." But protocol meant nothing against the sound that had just sliced through the static, a sound dispatch hadn't caught. A faint, desperate voice. "Help, please, my little girl can't breathe." That was it. The only order she needed to hear. Without a second thought, Maya grabbed her heavy toolkit and a high-powered flashlight. The darkness swallowed her as she stepped onto the tracks. The air was a thick, choking cocktail of smoke and dust. A low, menacing hum vibrated up through the soles of her boots from the metal rails. A warning of the unstable current that pulsed through the veins of this underground beast. Her flashlight beam danced nervously across the tunnel walls, revealing a chaotic web of broken cables, some of them spitting angry, blue sparks into the void. Every primal instinct screamed at her to turn back, to wait for the professionals, for the proper gear, for backup. But the sound of that mother's plea was a current stronger than any flowing through those wires, pulling her deeper into the tunnel, her heart refusing to let her feet obey the fear. She pushed onward, her breath misting in the cool, damp air. Half a mile. It felt like an eternity. Then, a shape emerged from the gloom. Train 47. A ghost ship stranded in a sea of blackness. Its headlights were dead. Its windows fogged over with the breath of the trapped passengers within. The sight sent a shiver down her spine, but she squared her shoulders. Using her emergency key, she forced the door open and climbed aboard, the acrid smell of burnt plastic and ozone hitting her instantly, making her cough. "Is anyone here?" She called out, her voice echoing in the confined space. A figure detached itself from the shadows. A mother, her face etched with terror, clutching a small child wrapped tightly in a jacket. "She has asthma," the woman cried, her voice breaking. "Her inhaler, it's empty." Maya's professional composure faltered. Her hands trembled as she knelt beside the little girl, whose breaths were coming in shallow, ragged gasps. "Hey, hang on, sweetheart. You're going to be okay," Maya said, her voice soft but firm, trying to project a calm she didn't feel. She frantically rummaged through her own emergency kit. No inhaler. Of course not. But her fingers closed around something else, an emergency oxygen mask, small and designed for quick field use. With practiced movements, she attached the small tank and gently placed the mask over the girl's small face. The next few seconds stretched into an agonizing eternity. Nothing. The girl's chest remained terrifyingly still. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs. Then, a faint, almost imperceptible breath. A flutter. Another. Slowly, miraculously, the girl's chest began to rise and fall with a more regular rhythm. The mother sobbed with relief. But the crisis wasn't over. Just as a wave of relief washed over the carriage, a shower of brilliant sparks erupted near the front of the train. A heavy-gauge power cable had snapped completely loose from its housing. It thrashed like a wounded snake, arcing wildly, sending lethal bolts of electricity dangerously close to the huddled passengers. "Everyone, get back, now!" Maya's voice boomed with authority. She ripped her insulated gloves from her belt, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She lunged toward the sparking, dancing cable. In her haste, her flashlight clattered to the floor, rolling away and plunging the cabin into a terrifying half-darkness, lit only by the strobing, violent flashes of the live wire. She was working almost blind. Guided by the flashes, she located the thrashing cable. Her gloved hand found its target. With a grunt of effort, she clamped her insulated wrench around the live wire, grounding it and severing the deadly current. The sudden, absolute silence that followed was deafening, more profound than the darkness itself. It was broken a moment later by a single shaky clap. Then another and another. until the entire carriage erupted in a wave of applause and cheers. Just then, as if on cue, the main emergency lights flickered to life, bathing the scene in a steady, reassuring glow. The rescue crew had finally arrived. Maya stood there, her uniform streaked with soot and grime, her arms trembling uncontrollably from the adrenaline dump. But as she looked at the faces of the people she had helped, a faint smile touched her lips. The mother, tears streaming down her face, wrapped her in a tight, desperate hug. "You saved my baby," she whispered into Maya's shoulder. Blinking back tears of her own, Maya just shook her head. "I just did what anyone would do," she said softly. But she knew deep down that wasn't entirely true. Not everyone would have walked into that tunnel. When she finally emerged from the subway, breathing in the cool night air, the city lights were shining again, a brilliant tapestry against the dark sky. From the window of a waiting ambulance, the little girl waved, her small hand clutching Maya's flashlight, the very one that had guided them all through the suffocating darkness. Watching them drive away, a powerful realization washed over Maya. In the midst of a crisis, when all the systems we rely on fail, the brightest light isn't always electric. Sometimes, it's human. It's that stubborn, unyielding spark inside someone who simply refuses to give up, who refuses to let the world around them go dark. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more. We'll see you in the next one.